Hello folks, my name is Christine and I'm from the Socrates Public Library, and I'm going to talk to you about books today. Specifically, I decided to go with heroes. Some are super, some are not, some are technically villains. Actually, a lot of them are technically villains. So, we're going to start off with Nimona. This was written by Noelle Stevenson. You might know Noelle Stevenson because she's the one who created the She-Ra TV show on Netflix. She's pretty awesome. Nimona is that. Nimona is a shapeshifter, and she decides to make herself the sidekick of our villain, Lord Blackwell, in this story. This is a graphic novel. And the point of the whole story, basically, is that the two of them use science and cleverness and magic to show that the guys who are supposed to be good in this world aren't. And so we get to turn everything on their heads. This also has a really, really good audiobook, which sounds weird because it's a graphic novel, but it's a dramatization. So each character has like a different voice actor, and there's a narrator, and there's sound effects, and it is like half an hour and so good. And last I checked, you could find it on Libby, so give that a shot. So like, this is a cool book. We have it in our teen section. It's great for middle grade. It's great for pretty much everybody. It's a good book. Next book is Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. This is part of a series. This is book 1. And it's all about, okay, so think of when people go into other worlds. So like Alice in Wonderland, Chronicles of Narnia. They always go in as kids, and they go into this other world, and their intent, the reason they're called to this world, is to be a hero and to save whatever's going on, save everybody from whatever's going on in the world. This is what happens when they're spit back out into the real world and they don't know how to cope. And they've got PTSD, and their whole brains were created in order and molded to deal with this fantasy world. Some of these, we get to explore some of these worlds. Some are chaotic, some are very, very logical. Some are, they're just really cool. Like there's a world made out of candy, there's one made out of dead people. There's multiple made out of dead people. So this is what happens when they all come back and they don't know what to do, and their parents have no idea what to do with them. So they go to, what is it called? Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. Stuff happens in the house too, and we get flashbacks, and some of the books in the series are simply about their time in the other worlds, and they're just really, really cool, and they're really, really short. Like that, they're just novellas. We have them in our adult section, but teens would certainly enjoy them. By the time you get to junior fiction, it depends on the kid and if they're gonna appreciate it. I think the content's fine, but it's the ideas behind it, I guess, that might not be fully understood yet. My next book is a straight teen book. It's called The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune, who actually came out with an adult book this year, something about the Cerulean Sea. This is one of my favorite books of this entire year. It has some of the quickest, wittiest dialogue. I was laughing on every page. It is a superhero book. It is a down-to-earth, you would never guess it's a superhero book. Our main character has ADHD, and in some ways he uses that as a crutch, and that's kind of his, this is how we're going to improve in this book. He's cool. The neat thing is, this world, the city, has people's superpowers. And our hero is called Shadowstar, and this kid is obsessed, like writes super cringy, bad fan fiction about him. And he's got a best friend that he kind of eventually goes, oh, I have a major crush on you, and it's great. And superheroes and realism, and his dad is a policeman, and like everything is just so good, and it's so funny. And it makes you cry sometimes, and there's definitely going to be like a sequel, and I cannot wait for it to come out. Book 4 is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. As far as I'm concerned, Marissa Meyer can do no wrong. This one's also in our teen section, so is The Extraordinaries. So Renegades is more superheroes. In this case, everybody called with his superpowers is called a prodigy. And our main characters are Nova, who was raised by the bad guys, And so she kind of has this big vendetta. Her skill is she can't sleep, but she can touch people and make them go to sleep. And so she's got this big vendetta. So she infiltrates, basically, the good guys, who are called the Renegades. So they've got a whole big syndicate. They train everybody. They do with all their own R&D. They're the Renegades. And she ends up on the same team as this guy, who is named Adrian. His mom was a superhero and she died. And so he was raised by the two main guys who are the top two superheroes in the city. And he's got a super cool power. Where whatever he draws can like become three-dimensional and come to life. And so he starts experimenting with tattoos. It is so cool. And I'm glad they went that direction. But anyway, this is I think it's 3-parter. Oh, I can't tell you now. It's 2 or 3-parter. They're all out, so that's good. And they obviously have some romantic tension and whatever, and there's the good guys versus the bad guys, and maybe we're not correct, maybe you're not all wrong, and it's good stuff. All right, and our last one is The Rise of Kyoshi by F.C. Yee. So Avatar: The Last Airbender came out on Netflix in July, and as for all of the teenagers I've talked to, everybody in the world has watched it now. So we have books. Kyoshi is the avatar before Roku, who's the avatar before Aang, and who's the avatar before Korra. She was an orphan, and she was a servant, and nobody figured out that she was the avatar. They thought somebody else was until she was in her early teens, I think. And eventually it comes out that she's the avatar, and a whole bunch of bad stuff happens, and she ends up on the run. She has this interesting thing where she has like no concept, no ability, no instinct for detail work, but she just has sheer raw power. So she has to go around, and she's on the run, and she learns, and she ends up joining this gang that her parents ran before they left her, and I don't remember if we figured out what happened to them. But Kyoshi ends up having to figure out what kind of avatar she's going to be, and she's just constantly surrounded by political intrigue, and she doesn't have the patience for any of that. And it's Avatar, so you should read it because it's awesome. And that's what I've got today, and I hope you enjoy some of it because they're all really, really good books. And that's all I have, so goodbye.